So Terry, I think one of the interesting things about when you kind of review a literature and kind of ponder these kind of bigger trends is not only where it's been but where it's all going. And so if you can maybe be sort of a little Nostradamus here and try to predict a little bit about where do you see the field going, you know, just as a function of where it's been and where it's at today.
Okay. You know, I mentioned earlier the demographics, and I think the demographics are going to make a huge difference in terms of where the field goes. And it's going to be partly in content, but it's also going to be partly in process. It's just we're dealing with different people, and those people have different ideas and new ideas. And so both the kind of interpersonal exchanges as well as the content of what people think are important, I think, are going to change. For a long time, for example, people from Europe had a focus on doing more qualitative research and had a kind of big idea, bigger pictures than I think North America is often sort of reflected as having this minuscule kind of incremental, small sort of contribution. So I think having the diversity helps. It provides other kinds of outlets. You know, it provides other kinds of standards, audiences. So I think just the demographics are going to make a difference in terms of the content, but also the way in which we do our work. There's a second thing that I mentioned just briefly in the paper, but it is getting harder, and I think it's getting harder in a lot of ways. But one of the ways it gets harder is that low-hanging fruit is a lot harder to find. People have been thinking about a lot of these topics now for 100 years, and a lot of these people were smart. And they had good ideas, and so we have accumulated some wisdom, and so I think that I mentioned in terms of the last response, or one of my responses about methods, that methods are opening up this idea of looking over time and looking over level and more sophisticated ways of doing research. Now, but that raises the bar. So it raises the bar. If you've got to gather multiple samples over time and multiple levels and so on, the standard goes up. And I think the standard is going to go up. It has been going up. But I think it also changes the content of what it is we're able to investigate. And then I'll mention the competition. The competition to publish is just intense. And the number of outlets and the number of actual articles in our top-level journals has not expanded at the same rate that the number of competent people out there has expanded. So now the training in Europe and the training in Asia, they're turning out people that are exceptional, and so that's going to raise that competitive bar. Now, I'm not quite sure how to respond to that. It's not a very positive picture in terms of competition and difficulty in being a success. I mean, we provide incredible rewards for people who do this well. I think the positive thing is going to be the new ideas, the new kinds of research that we're going to be able to do in the future, where there will be opportunity, where there will be areas that we haven't investigated, and people can be successful.